You've probably been told many times that this location, Caesarea Philippi, where Jesus chooses Peter, is in the far north of Israel. It's a very beautiful place in the foothills of the mountains. And there's an interesting natural phenomena. The source of the Jordan River flows out from the rock, flows out from caves and crevices in the rock. And so it's about as far away from Jerusalem as you can be and still be in Israel. And so in this calm and quiet and beautiful place, away from the suffering that Jesus will undergo, we have this declaration of faith. It's perhaps not idle that this is a place that's the source of the Jordan River, which plays such a major part in the story of our faith. The Jordan arising from clefts in the rock perhaps should remind us of other places where clefts in rocks take center stage. Moses is placed in a cleft in the rock so he can see a glimpse of God in Exodus. And clefts in rocks are where the people run to hide from the wrath of the Lord in Isaiah. In the Song of Songs, the clefts of the rocks is where the lover, the dove, is coaxed from to show herself. So we have here an element of hiding and revealing, loosing and binding. It's often said, in contrast, you see Jesus' words, to build his church on the rock of Peter, in distinction from this beautiful natural rock where pagan temples were built over the ages. But this is the rock of Peter's faith. That's often how it's expressed. And yet, in Peter's own story, we will see crevices and caves open up in his faith as he ultimately denies Jesus in the Gospels, and then in our traditional stories, at the end of his life, tries to run away from his fate by leaving Rome until he sees Jesus, who gives him again the example to return. So we see these caves, we see these weaknesses in the rock of Peter. How sturdy is this faith? How sturdy is the church's faith if it has these clefts in it? And is this then where the consolation, the image of the gates of Hades come in to Jesus' prophecy? The gates of Hades in the scriptures are often put forward to express the depth of the knowledge and power of God. Who has the knowledge of the gates of the underworld? It's God alone. That's what God himself says to Job. Were you there when I created the world, even to the gates of death, the gates of the underworld? And yet this knowledge of the gates of the underworld shows the power of God even over Hades. You have power over life and death, says the Book of Wisdom. Thou dost lead men down to the gates of Hades and back again. So this power then seems to come to be embodied in the church. It's given to the church in this moment to know the gates of Hades. And yet, as we see, all these images are pointing to what Jesus, just after this, will say to Peter and the apostles about how he must go to Jerusalem to face death, to be led to the gates of Hades. And so all these crevices and clefts in the faith of the church bring us deeper to the knowledge that God gives to his church of the gates of death, and so the way to life. Thou dost lead men down to the gates of Hades and back again. So we, as a church, should join ourselves in the same prayer that the psalmist does whenever there's that impression that everything is falling around us, that there's chaos and ambiguity. It's something that is there in that image of the rock. We'll just join ourselves in prayer with the psalmist. Have pity on me, Lord, see my sufferings. You who save me from the gates of death, that I may recount all your praise at the gates of the city of Zion.